Well, them is his titles. It's all respect. Like I told everybody for a long time. I'm like, man, me and Canelo. I got a ton of respect for Canelo. I'm a fan of Canelo. I've always been a fan of Canelo, and I wanted to be the one to give him back his belts. I didn't want my team to hand him back his belts. I wanted to be the one to give him back his belts.
The only thing I told him was that you could not give Canelo the center of the ring. And earlier you gave it to him, but then you started outboxing and outsmarting with it, and he started taking it back at the right time. So he studied the film very well. He knew when to fight, when to move left, and when to move right. It was a very smart fight. He completely frustrated Canelo.
The only thing I wonder is if Crawford was born and made in a laboratory, in a test tube, because that was science. That was pure science. No two ways about it.
To beat that, brother, he's going to be up there somewhere close to the top 5, I promise you.
History was just witnessed in the arena. Crawford astonished everyone by defeating Canelo in a brawl. No one imagined it would end this way. Electricity permeates the air. As boxing enters a new age, experts are in disbelief and comments are flooding in. Then, in the midst of it, Crawford's dad appeared. "I knew my son was that good," he said. Instead of shock, the remarks were delivered with cool assurance. They carried the years of perspiration, sleepless nights, and faith that only a parent could possess. It served as a reminder that greatness takes time to manifest. Brick by brick, it is constructed. He encapsulated a lifetime of perseverance and a triumph that permanently altered the boxing narrative in that one sentence. Roy Jones added his perspective just as everything appeared to be coming to a close. He spoke with the authority of someone who has been in the ring and is able to recognize brilliance when he sees it. That brother is hard to beat. It is likely that he will rank in the top 5. I swear to you, it wasn't a casual statement. It was the stamp of one of the best boxing minds. From Roy Jones, it made Crawford's victory much more compelling. There was no hype. It was acknowledgement, the sort that has been heard throughout history. Consequently, Crawford's triumph was more than just a triumph. It turned into a benchmark versus the greatest. The topic of discussion has now changed to his position among the immortals. Then followed the remarks of seasoned analyst Gareth A. Davies, who is renowned for his ability to dissect the sport in great depth. His response conveyed the gravity of what had just transpired with awe and power.
Absolutely, I picked Canelo because I thought he was so much bigger, almost three weight divisions above him. But the majesty and poise of Terence Crawford's brilliance tonight was to the fore. I had it 9 rounds to 3. I could just about see 8 rounds to 4, the 16-12 score. I cannot see 7 rounds to 5 from 2 of the judges. Terence Crawford tonight, at speed of thought, speed of hands, speed of feet, took it to Canelo when he had to. Canelo had no answers to him. For me, Terence Crawford moves up to the number 1 pound for pound spot in the sport right now, above Naoya Inoue, above Alexander Usyk. He is incredible. To become historically a 3-weight undisputed world champion, it just beggars belief what he's managed to do. He was immense tonight. He took it with humility. There was a little bit of emotion afterwards, but from first to last, I have to say it, Canelo did not have the answers for him. So let's take nothing away from Crawford. It was all of his doing.
Oh, absolutely.
He was the one that made Canelo look older, slower, and without the right
He schooled him. He schooled him from start to finish.
Him.
Listen, it was cagey at the start, don't get me wrong. There was a little bit of nip and tuck, there was a little bit of downloading the data, seeing what the situation is. Interesting that for the full 12 rounds, he only boxed in southpaw. No switch hitting tonight, stayed in southpaw. A little bit of downloading of the data, and then just gradually went through the gears up to round 4, and that's when he started to put his foot down. Everything Canelo did tonight, Bud Crawford had an answer for.
This was more than a compliment. It was a precisely worded technical verdict. Each observation demonstrated Crawford's dominance, his genius throughout the entire battle. From an experienced perspective, it was fact, distilled from ringside truth, rather than flattery. Crawford's performance was seen as a masterpiece rather than an upset. His position at the summit of boxing's mountain felt indisputable at that moment. Adam Catterall then arrived and broke it down with razor-sharp accuracy. His analysis was more factual and less sentimental, outlining Crawford's methodical dismantling of a champion.
Not only that, if you go back and watch the previews that we did throughout the course of the week, we said that this is a game of IQ. There's going to be movement within the fight. You're going to have to answer different types of questions and bring different types of game plan. Crawford did that. He was able to do it backwards. He was able to do it forwards. He could trade in the pocket, catch the stuff, and then counter. He was absolutely magnificent. Listen, I know this is raw and we've only just walked out the stadium, right?
10 minutes ago.
And when the dust settles on this, we'll probably have better answers and better thought processes. And I'm sure people watching this will get stuck into the comments and maybe say what I'm about to say is quite outlandish. That might be the single best performance that I have ever witnessed live. It was absolutely tremendous. You've got to take into consideration the weight jump. This is a man that was champion at 135, 140, 147, and obviously recently at 154. But let's be honest, he even jumped up to 154 pounds for that. To go then up to 168 and take on the former pound for pound #1 king on a Mexican holiday weekend in Las Vegas.
From bell to bell, every statement emphasized Crawford's power. Winning rounds weren't all that was involved. It was telling the fight's narrative. Adam's breakdown demonstrated the performance's thoroughness. There are no gaps or questions left unanswered. It was a real education that enhanced Crawford's already illustrious reputation. Adam continued after that. He delved even more into what was so unique about this evening. He spoke with the unadulterated enthusiasm of someone who had just seen history.
Jump. This is a man that was champion at 135, 140, 147, and obviously recently at 154. But let's be honest, he even jumped up to 154 pounds for that. To go then up to 168 and take on the former pound for pound #1 king on a Mexican holiday weekend in Las Vegas and managed to beat him on the cards when the judges tried to do him. Mate, it is out of this world what Terence Crawford just did, and he needs all the flowers in the world, he needs all the praise in the world, and I don't think you're wrong, mate, by saying he's the pound for pound #1. It's an ever-moving list. That performance alone deserves to put him right at the top of the...
This was not a pointless analysis. It was praise for a performance that stretched the boundaries of boxing's potential. Crawford's ability to adjust, resist, and maintain control in every circumstance was depicted as a work of art in motion. Adam's analysis perfectly encapsulated the feeling that we had just witnessed a unique, unforgettable bout that would go down in history as one of the greatest displays of skill. Adam enlarged the lens to see Crawford's ascent in greater detail. His viewpoint made the victory seem even more overwhelming.
Terence Bud Crawford makes history. I mean, that's the only way I can really start out this video. A lot to unpack on an amazing performance by Terence Crawford. Wasn't the most exciting fight, but really it was about Bud Crawford. It was about what he accomplished tonight, and it was about, you know, becoming the first undisputed world champion in the 4-belt era in 3 different weight classes. Really, and the way he did it, and you know, the class that he showed all throughout the preparation, and just flawless. I mean, Terence Crawford has had an amazing career against a lot of very good fighters and world-class fighters, and honestly has barely lost a round.
He reminded everyone of the obstacles to overcome, the favorable odds, and the scene set for the sport's most exciting weekend. It was more than just defeating Canelo. It involved disobeying every rule that ought to have prevented it. Adam's remarks portrayed Crawford as more than just a victor. They presented him as a creator of history. That made the win one of the greatest achievements in sports, deserving of every award and flower. Paulie Malignaggi then arrived, setting the tone for his breakdown with a statement. He described more than just the fight in his words. They presented the evening as a historical event.
Crawford really boxed very, very well, very, very intelligently. The question mark was what happens when Crawford gets hit cleanly. I'm not sure he got hit cleanly at the whole fight. You know, he got hit with some partial shots. Some shots landed cleanly, but by the time Canelo started landing anything cleanly, I think he was hesitant because he was getting countered so much that he was taking some of the steam off the shots in order to hope to be more accurate. Because even late in the fight, there were a couple of shots that Canelo landed, but they barely moved Crawford, you know. There were some good body shots Canelo was throwing, but Crawford started countering those very, very well. I think the key point started coming once after the first round. Crawford shifted a lot and moved a lot. I wanted to just kind of see where Canelo's power was at. He caught a couple of shots on the gloves, and I think there came a point in the first 1 or 2 rounds where Crawford said, this guy's not as strong as I thought, because he started seeing Crawford hold his ground more and more, and he started seeing Crawford, you know, doing a lot of catching and shooting.
He emphasized the important things: the accomplishments and demeanor of Crawford. Dominance and poise were more important than flair or drama. Paulie depicted a boxer who has subtly amassed one of the sport's most extensive resume, a career characterized by victories, as well as hardly giving his opponents a chance to fight. Paulie focused on the strategies and went deeper. His analysis went beyond Crawford's actions. It has to do with his cleverness.
To do a lot of catching and shooting, you've got to be willing to take the shot, even if you're going to block it. If a guy's a big puncher, even blocking it can be uncomfortable. And Crawford started getting comfortable catching and shooting, especially when Canelo tried to go to the body. Crawford was catching the shots and coming back with the counters. Sharp shots. Crawford never loaded up, but he was sharp the whole night. Sharp with jab, sharp with the counters, some well-placed body shots as well. Canelo landed here and there. I thought Canelo got really frustrated. I felt that headbutt was a little bit more than accidental, to tell you the truth. When he cut Crawford, I thought that was a little bit more of frustration, because the headbutt may have been accidental, but then you saw Canelo kind of dig his head in Crawford's face. So I thought there was some frustration from Canelo's perspective, because he ran out of answers.
Every counter and adjustment revealed the tale of a combatant in complete command. Paulie emphasized how Crawford used lightning-fast timing and accuracy to take the power out of Canelo's punches even while he looked for openings. It was the pinnacle of boxing intelligence. According to his interpretation, Crawford did more than simply live. From the opening round, he intelligently dismantled. Paulie then focused on Crawford's shrewdness, explaining how Canelo's game was affected by frustration.
Anytime Canelo has been down in his career, he has not shown an ability to both make an adjustment nor go for it and put his balls on the line. Not saying he's got no heart. Obviously, Canelo's been a very good fighter. I'm just saying there's a reason why the Mexican greats all have criticism for this guy. You know, Marquez, Morales, Barrera, and he's done disrespectful things to them, like not getting, like, block their credentials from his fights and things of that nature, not let them cover fights. This is what they're talking about, dude. Every time this guy is behind, every time this guy needs to put his balls on the line, he just cruises to a decision loss and is content to do it. And then afterwards says, Viva Mexico Cabrones, and his groupies just appease him and clap. These guys come from a different cloth. You know, the Mexican machismo of the old school greats in Mexican boxing is a different level. Not everyone is expected to live up to it, but the Mexican fighters themselves that did live up to it, they expect the new ones to live up to it. So when they don't, naturally they're going to express that. And of course, there's been some criticism from those kind of guys. And I'm not saying Canelo hasn't done some really good things, guys. It's not that. You can criticize a guy and still say he's been a good fighter and all this other stuff. But I think tonight, once again, showed his...
It was a clear image. Crawford accurately captures, shoots, and punishes. Brute force wasn't used. It was timing and discipline. Paulie's description encapsulated Canelo's use of crude techniques when he ran out of ideas, which exposed his inner disintegration. Crawford, on the other hand, maintained his composure and remained frigid, using each interaction as a reminder of who was really in command. When asked about Canelo's character under duress, Paulie didn't mince words. His analysis was direct, unvarnished, and grounded in reality.
Boxing masterclass from Terence Crawford. Canelo tried everything, kept coming forward, kept throwing, but as soon as he got him where he wanted him, Terence just got out of trouble and was landing shots as he did it. Unbelievable.
It was a stark contrast. Crawford took charge when it counted most. Paulie's remarks pierced the core of why Mexican legends have frequently been critical, even though Canelo appeared happy to fade. The goal was to highlight what distinguishes greatness from comfort, not to disparage Canelo's career. Crawford's tenacity was highlighted in that final take, while Canelo's shortcomings were exposed. Big John Fischer then took over and gave his decision in the direct manner his supporters adore. Although his response was brief, it was significant.
I think there was a golfing class there, and I don't know whether Canelo will be able to gap that at his age in life. So listen, two great warriors, two great champions. Honour to be here.
He described how Crawford established the mood right away in each round. Canelo was compelled to pursue a fight he would never be able to catch because of that early mark of authority. Johnny emphasized that the pivotal moment never materialized as it had in Canelo's previous bouts. Instead, undeterred by the size gap, Crawford looked ahead 2 paces. It was control masquerading as rhythm, control disguised as ease of use. Johnny Fischer made an even more forceful statement after that, committing Crawford's victory to history this time. His voice was heavy with familiarity.
I thought Crawford, every round he came out and started that round with the first 20-30 seconds and made an impression on the judges. And that not only makes an impression on the judges, it sets the tone to the other fighter. They end up in a psychological state where they think they've got to go and chase the rest of the round. And I just think, I was waiting for that turn, what Canelo does, round 6, round 7, to turn the tide of the fight, like he did against Billy Joe or Caleb Plant, but it never happened. And even though Crawford's two weight classes down from him, he didn't look like that. He looked like he was in complete control.
He made a unique observation. Canelo is dejected and defeated both on the cards and in his body language. Crawford was the reason of the collapse, which had never been witnessed like that before. According to Johnny's statements, he is now considered one of the greatest fighters of all time and is inscribed on boxing's Mount Rushmore. The change in energy from Canelo's initial chants to Crawford's final echoes told the tale of a new monarch. Bill Haney, who never held back, then gave his honest assessment of what had just transpired. His tone befitted someone who believed that Crawford's greatness was inevitable.
Exactly. And you guys knew what was going to happen. You were in denial. That shit looked easier than Earl Spence. Did look, huh?
It's a brilliant performance. Brilliant performance.
Man. Shout out to Team Crawford, Bo Mack, and that whole team, man. You know what I mean?
He called it just as he saw it, cutting right through the cacophony. This wasn't only a win for Bill. Domination was staged to appear effortless. He acknowledged the planning that went into the performance and gave Crawford and his crew full credit. His response was realistic and respectful of the genius that had just been displayed. There was no space for discussion with this type of breakdown. In a subsequent statement, Bill Haney expressed his admiration for Crawford's position in the sport. He said, "He deserves his place for sure. For sure." Despite its briefness, its impact was strong due to its simplicity. The most important assertions don't always require additional words. They are responsible for their own weight. It was evident that Bill respected Crawford and recognized his entitlement to be regarded as a member of the elite. There was no hype. It was acknowledgement from a person who understands what excellence looks like. He confirmed the evening's place in boxing history in just one instant. Tim Bradley then added his perspective, providing a past champion's perspective to the discussion. He spoke with the authority of someone who has actually been in the trenches.